This podcast contains an English accent that most of our Irish listeners will find offensive. Also, there may be some colourful language that you're going to find less offensive. Now, over to Ryan and Leon. Enjoy the podcast.
Last night, I'm a Celebrity, and the revelation that Wayne Rooney is a real romantic.
Is he affectionate in words?
Yeah, Queen's always wrote me poems. Some of them are a bit silly, but yeah. We used to go to, because he spent time in hotels a lot.
Yeah.
You know, the hotel pads, he would always, write a little poem and put it in his bag and give me it when he got home.
So cute.
And then cards over the years, he wrote poems in. Or little notes on.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cute.
They're nice to keep, but then, I can't remember the last time he gave me one, but...
Well, you might have one coming up.
I know, it might be a poem.
Roses are red, jungle is green. You're my love, Colleen.
You really can find poems where you least expect it.
I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Who would have thought you'd find it there, to be honest, in
Yeah.
the Australian jungle.
I was watching it the other day, and by the way, great show. Always so judgy about people that watch I'm a Celebrity, but it's so positive and nice. There's a load of people that used to be famous
Camping.
Camping. What would you want? But yeah, Wayne Rooney is a poet.
And he can barely utter out 2 words, so it's good to know that he can scribble down words.
Well, here's the thing: if you can't, some people that can't talk,
they write poems.
They write poems. I went on a bit of a. After that, I went on a bit of a deep dive because I was like, right, he can't be the only person that is a surprise poet. So I was Googling around and I was like, sports people writing poetry.
Right.
I couldn't find anything really. But I did find a poem by another England striker, Alan Shearer. Have you heard of Alan Shearer?
Not really.
Know of his work? All-time goal scorer in the Premier League.
Okay.
And he wrote a poem for a campaign that the Premier League were running in 2020 about ambition. So it was like a campaign that all the commentators were writing poems of and some footballers.
Right.
And I thought I'd share it with you.
Yeah, do.
So this is former England striker and Newcastle United striker Alan Shearer with the poem Ambition.
Here we go. Muddy pitches, cold winter nights, leaving home, hitting the heights. Extra training, whatever it takes. Eyes on the prize, no room for mistakes. Moving forwards, not a backward step. A fleeting chance, the ball hits the net. Coming home, all singing at me. My goal was achieved, ambition the key. Injuries came, a wounded knee. My career in doubt, fight or flee. I chose fight, fought through the pain. Hand aloft, the goals flowed again. But the lights fade, the cheering ceases. A whole life ahead, picking up the pieces. A career in management or in the TV. Ambition the driver to finding the key.
That was Ambition by Alan Shearer.
It's not going to win an award.
There's no Pulitzer Prizes there.
No.
But I heard he's a very good striker.
Yeah. He dug deep.
He was honest. He was honest. He's and I think it's a nice observation. He said, what's after that? Because he's talking about the glory of the game and the crowd kind of, cheering, and then he's like, what's after that? There's and he says there was a whole life of picking up the pieces. It's like,
yeah.
Your life out, because you think of the beautiful game, as if I fucking know what I'm talking about. A beautiful game, and people always talk about it and the kind of the magnitude of the crowd, the support, the highs, the lows, but they don't really talk about what comes after.
No.
So what do you do? You retire football at
37.
37, yeah, late 30s, 40s if you're a freak. You might last your 40s.
Feeling a level of foreboding and fear of the future at our age.
Imagine having a poetical peak. Imagine him look, Ryan, when you get to the end, you're getting on now in your 30s. You're gonna have to stop.
It's over.
You're gonna have to wrap this poetry up. You start getting injured.
You play through the pain.
Yeah, picking up the pieces of my poetical life.
Yeah,
do you know? And it is, people forget that. When you're training for competition, obviously people train for health and, you know, longevity, but for top physical performance, it's like watching, remember the Mike Tyson fight?
Oh,
did you watch that?
Yeah, no, it is.
Like, it was just kind of like,
not a great
like,
watch,
he was Mike Tyson at the end of the day, but like it looked like he was just getting, it would look like an outfit getting bashed.
Yeah,
you know,
walking into punches, and
his legs were unsteady. He just wasn't there. His reflexes were off, but that's the same for all athletes. Eventually, you know,
we'll catch up.
Unless you're a dart player.
Well, the darts players,
you can play until you have your 5th or 6th heart attack.
Well, listen, in December you'll see a load of old fellas playing darts on Sky Sports.
You don't see Phil Taylor doesn't have did he ever have a peak? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
not an athletic peak.
Peak athletic performance.
I'd say not an athletic peak. Speaking of poems coming out of fucking nowhere, you were walking around the park and you sent me this photo of this like an ornament in the middle of the park with a poem on. A pillar.
Yeah.
A pillar of poetry.
I was going through a pillar of poetry. Yeah. It's I was going through when you go to Bayside train station, you get off and you go through a tunnel, kind of you go down the steps through a tunnel and you're into Baldoyle, and then as I'm walking through the park there's like a pillar as you're leaving the park, but I only noticed it there, and it's like all these words and then a little kind of mural at the bottom. So this poem is called Hedge School by a poet called Pat Boran. What's she at out back? That little bag of chirps, small beak, hole poking, feather stroking, nip picking, stick amassing, her tail flashing, stitching, nothing to nothing. More than empty air, taking chances with those silly dances, playing hide and seek on her all alone and unaware that just by being there in those song-sung, bone-bare, broken and bowed branches, half her work is done.
That was the poem Hedge School by Pat Boran that Leon found on his walk around Baldoyle Park.
By the Bayside train station. You can check it out if you're in the area.
You do see more poems popping up in parks and stuff. Like, I think when I was walking around Lucan the other day, there's a few monuments and little ditty things that are poking around with little phrases on them, poems. Lovely.
Little tidbits.
It's
nice. It brightens up the park, like, do you know?
Yeah.
Rather than having shopping bags and dog shite all around the place, they're now putting poems and murals.
Yeah.
A lot of murals. There's actually a lot of murals. Because what happened is Bayside's beside Baldoyle, right? Bayside's always been like an arty place. So it was built, I think, around the 70s. But it's technically kind of around the Sutton area. So it's a nicer area than Baldoyle, even though there's only a train line separating the two. But it has places like James Joyce Avenue, Oscar Wilde Road and all that. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
very cultural, yeah. So, but they have like, the park over there is lovely. They've got like a little bee hotel and insect, you know, all these different kinds of things. There's lads like tight roping in the park and all on like a Sunday. It's probably like a little hippie spot, but the place is a lot like, it was more brighter and more artistic, you know. So now they've started realising, hang on a second, they better start putting stuff in towards Baldoyle because they've done Bayside up nice. So now Baldoyle's getting a little facelift itself.
Nice.
With a few poems put in there now. We'll have our bee hotel by 2025, hopefully.
Nice. Beautiful. Speaking of going around the place, I got a poem. Do you remember about a while ago, right? We were doing we got an agony aunt poem, and we had to send for help. It was about depression, postnatal depression.
Oh, we outsourced there.
We outsourced it. We had to, and we got a ton of incredible poems. One of them was from a poet called Jenny Fagan, and didn't you see her?
Well, what actually happened was I've been helping out with the All Ireland committee now this year, so I've helped run the Connacht Slam and then helped organise the All Ireland, which is on this Saturday. But the Connacht Slam was an online competition, so we used the Rising Tide email, and I got basically all the applicants in, sent it to judges. Judges made the deliberation, and then they determined who was going through. So Jenny Fagan was actually joint second.
Oh,
Holly
savage.
Hughes, yeah, joint second. They literally couldn't decide. Brilliant poem, fantastic poem. They both entered. Well, everyone that entered was fantastic, but the Holly Hughes and Jenny Fagan just couldn't decide who was who was going before them. So they got joint second, basically.
Amazing.
Brilliant poem.
And they'll be competing this weekend
at the All Ireland. Yeah, Pearse Street Library, between 2 and 5 p.m. There'll be 12 poets between 4 provinces. So you'll have Ulster, Munster, Connacht and Leinster. 12 poets battling out to be the All Ireland Poetry Slam Champion 2024.
Nice. And by the time this goes out, we'll know who won it.
People that'll be listening now
will know.
Will know already. So good luck in the future. It was lethal, I imagine.
Yeah, you listening know more. We don't know anything.
Because if you don't know,
it's like a weird moment in time.
Because if you don't know now, then you can tell us, or you can check yourself. Because you should already know before listening to this podcast.
Yeah,
but if you don't
know.
Just go on the Instagram. You'll see who won.
Sound.
There you go. That's something for you to do on a Monday morning. Check out who won the All Ireland. So basically, it was me who won it in 2022.
Aye.
And then there's a tradition. You get a handmade trophy. This lovely carved wooden kind of. It looks like a plate. Be great for a charcuterie board. Unfortunately, I never got to use it as one. But you pass it to the next champion. So the trophy's continuously passed. I passed it to Anna D. Anna D will be featured poet for the All Ireland, and then she will pass the trophy to the next poet, whoever wins.
And I was going to say, best of luck to everybody, but now I guess I'll say, I hope everyone had fun.
Yeah, you were all lethal.
Yeah, I'll share a poem from Jenny. Now I don't know. This may have already been the one that she performed in that video. You'll know when I start doing it, mate. So this is a poem by Jenny Fagan, and it's called "The Deep Darkies." I don't really feel like getting out of bed today. I've welded myself to this mattress, the curtains are all drawn. The sun's blasting the stones outside, but I can't see it. I've got those dark glasses on. I didn't see it coming this time. I thought everything had been going okay for a bit. I was eating relatively healthily and staying somewhat fit, but then it hit me. Like a black wave, it crashed into me and consumed me, devoured me, disempowered me and swallowed me whole. Then I washed up on the beach as an empty shell, all broken, hollow and cold. My friends don't see it. My family can't stand it. They tell me to just cheer up, smile a bit more. You see, they don't like this new see-through version of me. They want the person that was once there before. But she's gone and fucked off and left me in this mess. I know this will pass, at least I think. I hope it will. Like flowers that will wither away in winter and find themselves blooming in spring. The seasons of my brain are forever changing, so I try to remember this one thing. That every minute might feel like an hour, and every inch may feel like a mile. But someday soon, I promise, you'll be you again, and you'll find yourself a reason to smile.
That was The Deep Darkies by Jenny Fagan.
Was that the one that she shared?
No, she did a different poem, and that one's equally as good.
Yeah, powerful.
Very, very good. The Seasons of My Brain. What a fucking line!
Oh yeah,
brilliant, and it's true. And
it's true, man.
To describe someone's mindset as kind of like seasons, they just kind of go through, and each season's different. It's very, very interesting observation. Usually, like, you have depression or you don't. Whereas it's not really that simple. It's not like an on-off switch.
No.
It's more like a spectrum of sadness. There's the title of my new collection. Spectrum of Sadness.
Self-help book.
Yeah.
Spectrum of Sadness. But, what I really liked about it, there's pressure when people are watching you. I think when you're going through some mental torture, or even just being alive, and you've got the pressure of your social life, friends and family staring at you, it can push you even further to the corner.
Yeah,
there's lots of but you know, like we said last week, we need people. People are there to help us. But when you know you're not right, or you're not quite on a even keel, and you know people are watching you, and like you get pressured by the eyes because the eyes are on you, you get a bit smaller maybe.
And then also as well, like, people have an expectation of you. So if you're known as the funny person, or this person has a bright disposition, and you're not having a good day, that can be even harder, because then not only are you just trying to be normal, but you're trying to be above normal and pretend to be happy, you know?
That is that's on the money for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like I kind of feel like I am the chirpy one with that high disposition of being usually on my toes. So when I'm not, I literally just have to take days off work and just shut myself away and
really
read and breathe but then come back. It's like that pressure of like the goal is to get back to where you were. So like it forces you, even if it's fake, to get back. And I think sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, and you'll naturally end up being level again. But the initial force is the pressure of your own, it's yourself, like it's your own shadow, let's say.
Yeah.
Pushing yourself back to a place where you're not ready, but you have to get there.
But they even say, like, people much smarter than myself, that if you smile, it actually almost tricks your brain. So even if you practice smiling more, it actually tricks your brain and releases endorphins into the brain. So even just the act of smiling, even if you're not happy and you try. So I think that's when you're around people and that involve you having to, again, like that, push yourself to kind of appear better, you actually feel better afterwards, which is mad. But I suppose when you're saying that, you know, you need to take a reset day or whatever it is whenever you're, you know, not feeling the best, at least you have the kind of means and the tools to know, right, if I spend the day reading and doing things, going for a walk, looking after myself, it'll bring you back to baseline, which some people just don't have.
Some people don't have it.
They just don't know how to fix things or, you know, make themselves better or feel better, you know.
That's interesting you said that, man, because like I guess my whole psyche of having bad days, the root is in knowing that there's good days and knowing yourself to know how to get there, whether it's like going for a run, doing some reading, shutting yourself off for a few days. It's like an incubator that you need. You know, if you don't know yourself, or if you don't know how to get out of the darkness, that must be a terrifying place. Yeah,
and that's why a lot of people turn to, like, you know, like they go to drink or they go to drugs, whatever it is, because I have to something to admit. I've been listening, you know, Ray, as in like R-A-Y-E,
the singer,
the English
man.
Escapism. Have you listened to that? Oh my god, I listened to that twice today. I've been going down a rabbit hole with that song. It's just amazing, right? Like the lyricism and all of that is incredible. But like about escaping from your feelings by medicating yourself.
Is that the song that goes, I don't want to feel like I did
last night. I don't want to feel.
So, man, yeah.
I got a new man on me. It's about to get sweaty.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, and that, it's about not sin, but like
it's about
bad choices.
Basically, the moral of the song is that someone broke up with her the night beforehand, and in her retaliation, she's just going out to get absolutely blasted and ride a stranger. And she's like, I don't want to feel anything, so I'm gonna basically just get off me tits and just go home with someone. And then it's like, what does it say? There's a line at the end, and it's like, I don't remember anything, so I've nothing to regret. And you're like, that's what some people do. Like, they go out and get absolutely blasted because they're like, you know, it stops them thinking about life and the routine. It's a shame, you know.
Oblivion can save people sometimes. Drinking to a level of oblivion,
it can appear to save people, but if you excessively, obviously, it can be downfall, you know. Yeah. But very good poem though by Jenny Fagan, I have to say.
And like, you know, that's what poetry is meant to do. Is meant to get your head going. Yeah, I think she did a great job there at like not just telling us a story, but also what did Kay Tempest say? The poetry is the window, not the view.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I fucking love that line.
I know, it's a great line.
Amazing.
Yeah, great line. Wanted to share this with you, right? So we have a poem from our friend and fan of the show, Andy Porter.
Oh, Andy. What a legend.
Yeah, a legend. And he pinged us an email the other day, and including in that email was a poem. Now, we have a book collection coming out.
Yeah.
Right, our collection's coming out. It's on the 1st of December, the launch date. We're releasing pre-release copies. Andy Porter was one of the first poets to be on that list of contributors, and because I'm shit, I forgot to put it in. We were just first time doing this and racing through, and he sent us this poem called "Neighbours Got a Brand New Hot Tub," and it was the first one that I wanted to put in. And as we were editing it, and as we both it fell through the cracks. So what we wanted to do is put a bit of put the stage out for Andy.
Shine a light on Andy.
Yeah, shine a light on him.
He's a fucking legend as well.
And great. I was calling him a lyricist as well, man. He's funny and it's levity and it's crack.
What was the one we covered of the DIY man? The death of the DIY man.
Of a DIY
fucking
man.
Brilliant.
So, and I thought it'd be better for Andy to give it himself. So this is the voice of Andy Porter with Neighbours Got a Brand New Hot Tub.
Oh, yes.
Neighbours got a new hot tub. Neighbours got a new hot tub, cost £6,000 from B&Q. It came with white robes, a fridge and a sub, they're for the chosen few. Neighbours got a new hot tub, it completely fills his deck. It's superior to a back rub and it's sorted out his neck. It's both rigid and inflatable with blue lights in LED. Its necessities debatable, it's an alfresco luxury. It's big enough for up to 8 in a chlorinated soup. If you order now, you'll have to wait to entertain your chosen group. As he turns it on each night, it beats with a rhythmic throb. The chance of electrocution slight, it's far too big to rob. Lights and directional nozzles make it stand out from the crowd. It's the perfect place to get sozzled and play your music loud. It's got speakers and cup holders. I can hear more splashing sounds. It's a shame he never told us that he's having friends around. Neighbours got a new hot tub, it's changed his outdoor life. He talks about it in the pub, it's revitalised his wife. Neighbours got a new hot tub, its spa bar will never sink. He's joined the Jet Set Jacuzzi Club and it's driving me to drink.
That was Neighbours Got a New Hot Tub by Andy Porter.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I just love his accent as well.
Great accent, great plays on words. Such a smart fella.
Did I ever tell you about my identity crisis that I had a couple of years ago?
No.
So,
this accent based?
Not accent based. No, okay, just fine. So basically, this is it's about 2021, I think it was. I had a bit of an identity crisis because I always considered myself growing up I was working class, and then my ma got a hot tub. And then I had an identity crisis because I thought,
you in cribs.
I don't even live in my ma's house. I haven't lived in my ma's house in 12 years, but I was like, my ma has one, so that means I'm now middle class by association. Like, I was raised in my nanny's house, me, my ma, my auntie in one room for like fucking 5 years, first 5 years, and then my ma gets a hot tub, obviously like 30 years later, and I was like, oh no,
oh god,
I've lost my working class status now.
Peak Mariah Carey in a dressing gown and sunglasses,
swanning around the gaff, and she's like, look, I've actually got I've got a Wi-Fi thermometer now that I can check the temperature of the water before I even leave the house. And I was like, stop, the neighbours will know.
But like, the thing is, there used to be thousands, didn't they? Like, it was the
hot tubs.
Yeah,
I was Celtic Tiger. Yeah,
it was it was the symbol of like.
You either had a hot tub or a jet ski.
The jet ski, the hot tub.
Do that's water-based equipment.
Now it's like the widescreen TV.
Widescreen TV and teeth that are whiter than the fucking...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things are not as expensive as they used to be.
No. Changing narratives, changing...
I never got a buzz of the... I never got to jump in a COVID hot tub, unfortunately. The neighbours got one next to my mum and dad's house. They got one. They were playing like music loud at late nights and having lads around and having great fun, but... I never jumped in one of them.
Although I will say, my best mate got a blow-up one, and you can get a pretty decent one. The only thing is, though, they're terrible for the electricity bill, because obviously you have to there's a filtration unit and a pump and all of that. So that runs off, obviously, the electricity. With the wood-fired one, which my ma has, you just literally throw a lot of wood in, heat it up for 40 minutes, brand new, 40 fucking degrees, cooking yourself. You're like in a bowl of stew, it's unreal.
Nice.
But my mate got one anyway, and during COVID, lockdown 2, we used to go and get a slab of Guinness cans, back when cans weren't €45 for one.
Yeah.
And we used to get 24 cans of Guinness, and we'd have 12 cans each on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And we'd sit in his hot tub for like 4 hours.
People moan about the pandemic.
And we were like, can't wait to go.
That's amazing.
Can't wait to go to the pub. Why are we just... I'm sick of talking to you. And we'd just sitting there drinking cans of Guinness that we paid probably about €25 back then, back in the good old days.
Yeah.
getting absolutely crinkled from sitting in the water for 4 hours. Wasn't
That's
bad.
class.
Wasn't that much of a bad life, I have to say. Second lockdown was much better.
Yeah.
With the hot tub involved.
Say it will be.
But yeah, I wasn't as conscious about it. And then I realised afterwards, you don't lose where your background, where you're from, just because of a commodity.
You definitely don't.
No water-based equipment will take away my heritage.
You do have a little like, oh yeah, and then no.
Like even one of the poems I wrote, the one I had about the homophobic outfit in the pub, that one, right? There's a thing where I say there's differences between us, me and him and me, but if you looked at us both similarities, you might see why. And in the video I recorded was why middle class male straight. And I fucking hate that video because I say that, and like ever since then I've always said working class because I am working class. But at that time when I was releasing that video, I was like, well, I'm not working class anymore.
The jacuzzi.
I thought I was middle class. Had notions. Had notions by second degree notions.
Listen, don't you worry. I am the living embodiment of a man from a working class background who is a notion. just absolute notion.
A working class notion.
Yeah, it comes from absolutely nothing. It's Versace on a Primark budget. Comes from nowhere.
Champagne lifestyle on a Dutch gold wage.
Yeah, exactly. But what I like about that though is you'll always go back to what you were kind of brought up on. So I remember maybe like in your early 20s when you got a bit of money, when you go back to your hometown, you go to the ship pub and you buy a bottle of Prosecco for yourself. Because you're a dickhead. That's what I did. Man, going back to Wolverhampton, I was acting like fucking, I don't know.
Were you wearing a silk jacket or something?
Mescal, walking around going, gee, I'm big dog here. Buying bottles of Prosecco for myself. Loving life, like going,
drinking them with a straw.
What do you want? And
Cooler
now I
and
never do that now. But yeah, I was
do you know, actually, was on a stag in Newcastle a couple of years ago, and after we went on this pub crawl, and like at the end of the pub crawl, we were in this nightclub, and I think it was like £10 for a bottle of Prosecco. And one of the lads was like, look, man, they're getting this, it's so cheap. And I was like, fuck it, I want a bottle of Prosecco. Because when are you going to buy a bottle of Prosecco?
Yes, lads!
But then it was like, you have to, obviously, you forget that you have to hold the bottle and the cooler. Yes, and we were in a nightclub, there's no fucking tables. We're not sitting down. So I'm walking around with a little champagne glass and a fucking wine cooler. Walking around, and I was like, this is terrible. So then I just necked the bottle of Prosecco.
You'd be dead.
In about 15 minutes, I had to go home very shortly after that.
Yeah, so you
That's after a pub crawl, like. I felt like a dick.
You should have asked Alan Shearer in Newcastle. He probably got you a table.
I wish he fucking could have, because I wouldn't have drank it a bit slower and I wouldn't have had to leave. But it was about 12 o'clock. I was like, I'm out. I have to go.
So.
I've had a bottle of Prosecco. I've too much, full of notions. I have to leave.
Nice. We got the read along. Been doing it the last couple of weeks. The read along author for this month is the current United States poet laureate Ada Limón. And we got these books from the Winding Stair bookshop. Picked them up last week. And what we thought we'd do, we'd give you a bit of a glimpse of her stuff, her work. I feel like when I knew, actually, Ada Limón was selected by the guys of the Winding Stair.
Curated,
yeah, we've outsourced it like we like to do. And when I heard about it, it was a bit like, I felt like, oh God, we're going to read poet laureate stuff. Usually when that happens, it's quite watered down work, but this collection was published before. Yeah. And there's it's not what you'd expect at all, some of the poems. So we thought we'd share one for you.
Yeah, this is How to Triumph Like a Girl by Ada Limón. I like the lady horses best. How they make it all look easy. Like running 40 miles per hour is as fun as taking a nap or grass. I like the lady horse swagger after winning. Ears up, girls, ears up. But mainly, let's be honest, I like that they're ladies. As if this big dangerous animal is also part of me. That somewhere inside the delicate skin of my body there pumps an 8-pound female horse heart. Giant with power, heavy with blood. Don't you want to believe it? Don't you want to lift my shirt and see the huge beaten genius machine that thinks, no, it knows it's going to come in first.
That was Ada Limón with How to Win Like a Girl.
How to triumph like a girl.
How to triumph like a girl. Let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about the inbuilt lack of faith that women have in themselves that we don't carry. So I think I was in the pub a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about like the things that we were up to, like the book and so whatever, all that stuff. And she was like, "You just got so much confidence in what you're doing." I was like, "Oh, what else are you gonna do? You may as well crack on." I was like, "Yeah, but you know, women, we just need so many like affirmations and so many things to kind of make sure that we're confident enough to try something."
Yeah.
And I think I was watching, there was a clip of Sharon Horgan talking on some kind of like, maybe it was a launch of Bad Sisters maybe, and she was like, just do it. If you're a woman, just do it. Like, I think we don't carry it. Like, we carry a confidence in us that makes us think so blindly that we could win. And I think it's something that isn't shared by women.
Yeah, it's why like men are like, I'm going to do a marathon. I've never fucking trained for one, but I'm going to do one.
I'll just do it.
I know a lad that did a marathon with no training. Like, no training.
Just by saying that he will.
That week,
he can
now he'd cycled, but like, cycling's not running. And was like, fuck it, I'm going to do a marathon. And he did it. And he did it. Like, now he was fucked for about a week, 2 weeks maybe, couldn't walk. But like, blind faith, just like, I'm going to give it a go.
It's a masculine thing, isn't it? I don't know what masculine, but like, it's not some, like, the fear of not being able to do something, I mean, never really crosses me mind. Like.
Fine line between bravery and stupidity.
Well, that's the thing. We carry a lot of blind arrogance.
Blind arrogance, yeah.
Into what we
Bravado.
do. Men in general.
Yeah.
Here's a good, interesting thing. I was running the other day, right, and I had the Nike running club running through my head when I was. It's like a guided run.
Right.
A guided run was like a gratitude 6K, let's say. And one of the questions, he was like, "Hey, 2K. 4K to go. Question for you." I was like, "Yeah, great, man. Let's go. Coach Benny, his name is. He's like, "When was the last time you were wrong about something?" And here's me. No, I had to stop running. I was like, when was the last time I was wrong about something? And I couldn't remember. Isn't that awful?
You couldn't remember you were wrong.
Like, I think the question was totally wrong about something. And I stopped the run. And I stood in the park, and I was like, there must be something. And I ended up coming up with something about 5 minutes later. But we just have a blind stupidity around the way we are showing up in the world, I think, a lot of men. Even me.
I just carry around that I don't listen to myself, so I probably have said something. The thing is about myself is I'll be completely wrong and I won't know. I'll have been saying something ridiculous with absolute confidence, and I could be completely wrong. I remember being in a work chat once, and I think I said to someone that there was 54 weeks in the year.
And you just said it.
I just said it.
You know there's 54 weeks, so...
I was thinking about cards. I don't think there's even 54 cards in the deck, to be honest, but I just thought... I just said 54. 52 cards.
I think so. Here's me. I don't know.
And I was so confident, and he was like... And I kind of said it, and then I was just talking. It was just like a throwaway comment, and I kept talking, and they're like, "Leon, did you just say there was 54 weeks in the year?" And I was like, "What? Did I?" And they're like, "Yeah, you did." And then they started laughing. I was like, "I didn't even know." I was like, "We wouldn't even have known because you were just so casual about it." But I was like, "I didn't have a fucking clue. I was completely wrong. Surely as a grown man, I should know how many fucking weeks there are in a year."
For fuck's sake.
Blind bravado.
Be wary of the vocal man at the pub quiz.
Fucking too right.
Be wary.
The armchair strategist.
Yeah.
I knew if you had gone with my answer, we would have gotten it right.
Yeah,
He didn't even say that.
He didn't say anything. We're going to wrap up the show with a poem that I was lucky enough to witness live by the poet Roxanna Nic Liam. It was at Talkatives the weekend just gone.
Oh, yeah. And
in Ireland... and probably all around the world, actually, the world has been paying attention to Nikita Hand and Conor McGregor. And instead of... I mean, it's fucking awful, the whole story. And it's a landmark victory, really, for someone who's suing and going through, even if it was the civil courts, like to win a case like that. but it just hammers home. If anybody hasn't like looked at that court case and looked at what's happened, if you could just have a look and read the notes, and it's fucking despicable Conor McGregor's behaviour and the crimes he's committed. But so we're going to end the show with the voice of Roxanna Nic Liam. And I can't wait for you to hear it, man. It's it had the room shook. I mean, it was so frustrating as well. She didn't get through to the final round with this thing about slams. You know, I don't know.
They're weird.
They're very strange. She getting tens all over the gaff for this. Didn't get through to the final round.
Don't let a slam take away your shine. Doesn't matter.
No, but in all fairness, even Mary Lucy won the slam, and she deserved everything. But this one at least should have got to the final round, and it's gotten a lot of traction online. And thank you, Roxanna, for allowing us to share your writing journey, I guess, of like getting this out and sharing us the poem. So before we hear the voice of Roxanna Leon, as always, pal, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure, never to chaw, Ryan, baby.
This is Roxanna Nic Liam.
Hello, so I'm Roxanna Nic Liam, and I wrote this poem for Nikita. And the process kind of for this poem and kind of for all my poems is I usually feel very strongly about something. A lot of the time anger, it's probably my most useful kind of tool in writing. And I kind of just, when I feel angry about something, I just write out everything I feel about it. Sometimes it will just automatically start kind of coming out in rhyme, but a lot of the time I'm just writing it, and then I look back at it and I start to edit it and start to connect kind of things and turn it into sections, and then try and find where the rhymes can kind of naturally come in. I start to play a bit with rhythm. So yeah, I kind of like over the weekend was thinking a lot about Nikita after the verdict, so it was just on my mind a lot. I was seeing a lot of takes, I was seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter. You know, as a woman, women talk, and we all know kind of what happens with women being called liars and all this kind of stuff. So that anger had built up over a lifetime and then kind of peaked at the weekend. So Sunday morning just wrote it all out. Yeah, just started learning it then for the evening for the Grand Slam event on Sunday. Yeah, it was very raw. It was very a rough idea of it. But I sometimes think that's what kind of connects with people the most, is that real kind of rawness and real kind of plea to be heard, to be listened to, which so many women aren't. So yeah, that was the process of it. And then I thought I'd record it and put it online because it's just very relevant right now, and I just wanted her to know that actually most women do stand with her. There's a lot of trolls out there, but most women completely understand. So yeah, that's the story of the poem. Nikita Hand. Today you stand for the women of this land. You stand for Manana Heron, for the secrets women keep that seem unbearable to tell. The secrets women bury deep inside of them, because to find someone and confide in them would risk someone thinking you lied to them, or that you were somehow to blame. So instead you bury it deep down and learn to carry the shame. Nikita, today you stand for the ones who had to face their abuser in court and still lost, or the ones who didn't even report. The ones who were told it's his word against yours, even though you still have the scars all down your back from where he whacked you against a wall. You stand for teenagers who were told you're so mature for your age by older men. Teenagers who couldn't see back then that they were wolves in sheep's clothing, who preyed on girls' insecurities and self-loathing. You stand for all the women who ever questioned whether an encounter was consensual, who felt it was easier to go along with things because they know the risk of saying no, and they wanted to stay safe. There's women who don't want to use the word rape because they don't want to feel like a victim. They don't want to be just another statistic. And rape is violent and sadistic, isn't it? Well, no, not always. It's sometimes quiet and unassuming. It's not always a stranger looming in the bushes. In fact, most victims are raped by people they know. And Nikita stands for all the women who have to listen to men debate whether or not the victim is lying, while you sit there trying to remain composed, with the secret that was buried inside you rising closer and closer to being exposed. But you know, deep down inside, you know that you too would be questioned about your motives, about your reasons, and you don't want the past being drudged so that you can be judged and asked, why did you not just? How did it take you so long to? Are you sure it wasn't? But he's so sound, why would he? Why? 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 Because he fucking can. That's why. And why the fuck would we lie? What have we got to gain by really living our pain again and again, when we know it'll fall on deaf ears in a fucked up, corrupt system? And I couldn't even list them, the amount of women who don't even bother to go to the police. The amount of women who just have to go on living after being violated, but still have to listen to their trauma being debated by men who are bitter, by incels on Twitter. So today, let us have our victor. Today, let us stand with Nikita. Because in standing up for herself, against her abuser, against that fucking loser, she stood up for all of us. So thank you, Nikita. Thank you.